Today we're going to talk about one of the most important tools in modern technology, one that you probably never even see. This is the story of the Digital Librarian and the hidden empire it built for JavaScript.
All right, to really get this, you got to see the before and after. Just look at this. On the left, that was the old way. A total mess of script files, just pure chaos. And on the right, that's today. One single clean command does everything. The question is, how on earth did we get from that mess to this magic?
Well, to understand why this was such a big deal, we have to go back in time to what developers call the JavaScript Wild West. Seriously, before 2009, there was no central hub, no library, zero order. It was every developer for themselves.
And this really shows you the problem. I mean, imagine building a house, but for every new house, you have to make every single nail, every screw from scratch. That's what JavaScript development felt like. You were totally on your own, copying and pasting code from some random blog and just hoping for the best.
But then, out of all that chaos, something emerged to bring order. And this is the hero of our story. We're calling it the Digital Librarian, a single tool designed to organize all of the world's JavaScript code.
So, what is this librarian? Well, its real name is NPM, which stands for Node Package Manager. And it does two really important jobs. First, it's a massive digital library that holds all the code. And second, it's the manager of that library. It's the one who finds, installs, and updates all that code for you.
And look, when I say a giant library, I'm not kidding. The scale is, well, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. We are talking about more than 2 million individual code packages. This isn't just some big collection. It is literally the largest software registry in the entire world. Okay. So you're probably wondering, how does the librarian know which of those 2 million books your project actually needs? Well, the secret is in this one little file that acts like a blueprint for your project. It's called the package.json file. You know, I've heard this file described as the DNA of your project, and that's just perfect. It's like its birth certificate and its instruction manual all rolled into one. It tells the librarian everything it needs to know.
So let's peek inside this blueprint. You've got the project's name and its version. Think of that like a book's title and its edition number. But here's the really critical part, dependencies. This is basically your shopping list. It tells the librarian exactly which code books your project absolutely has to have to work. And that list, that dependencies list, that's where the real magic happens. It kicks off this incredible chain reaction, something we can call the Dependency Domino Effect. And it's all hidden inside one simple command, npm install. Okay, so picture this. It starts out simple. You go up to the librarian and you ask for just one book. Let's say you ask for something super popular, a package called React. That's it. One request, one tool. Seems simple enough, right? Well, not quite. See, the librarian doesn't just come back with that one book you asked for. They come back with a whole stack of them. Why? Because the book you wanted has references to all these other books that it needs to even make sense. And so your one little request for React can end up downloading over 50 other packages. That is the domino effect in action. Each book depends on other books, which depend on other books, creating this huge branching tree of code. So how does the librarian pull this off so fast? Well, the process is super efficient. First, it checks the main library to find the package you asked for. Step 2, it reads that package's own reference list to see what it needs. And finally, step 3, it just gathers up everything in that whole dependency tree and neatly puts it all in a folder for your project. Okay, so all of this leads to a much bigger point. This whole system hasn't just built a few projects. It has built an entire empire of code. The impact of having this shared digital library, it has completely changed the game for how software gets made. I mean, just look at this chart. It really says it all. When you build a modern web app, the code that you actually write from scratch, it might only be about 5% of the final product. The other 95%, that's open source code pulled from the NPM library. We are all, quite literally, standing on the shoulders of giants. But, you know, relying on this empire is a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, the upside is amazing. We can build incredibly complex things faster than ever. But there's a downside, and it's a real one. Our projects can get huge, and we're essentially trusting code written by thousands of strangers. And that, of course, can open the door to security risks. So how do we deal with those risks? Well, the whole system kind of has its own immune system. There are built-in tools, like a command called NPM audit, that will scan your project for any known security problems. It can even fix a lot of them for you automatically. But really, the best protection is the community itself.
And that really brings us to the heart of it all. Someone once said that NPM isn't just a tool, it's a social contract. And I think that's exactly right. It's this unspoken agreement between millions of developers to share their work, to trust each other's code, and to build our digital world together.
So that leaves us with one final thought. This whole empire, all of it from one simple command to a global network of 2 million packages, it was all built on the idea of sharing. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What happens when the world's knowledge is shared, one package at a time?